This is part 2 of the Arena series, how to light an arena with strobes. This is Tex Turner Arena at Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. This arena seats about 5,500 people. It's a very new facility, but sadly it lacks a catwalk. So there's no way to get over the very top of the court to put strobes firing down. And so the best we can do is do stands into the corners and then put them up as high as we can. It's unfortunate, but it still works. The big problem with this is that the light is coming down at the court at an angle like this rather than like this. And so you have flare issues. But it still beats shooting available light any day of the week. We're using some dynalite XB prime units. These are 500 watt-second monoblock strobes. This is kind of a new thing for me. These are really, really good lights. I'm liking them a lot. They recycle extremely quickly. You can hear how fast they come back up for full power. They have 7 stops of control. And of course, we've got pocket wizards on them so that they'll all fire. This instance in this arena setup is a temporary one. I came in here to shoot the Division II NCAA first and second round games. First day was 4 games, second day was 2 games, and then now tonight will be the final and last game that will produce one team to go to the Division II Final Four. So obviously this is about an hour away from where I live, and it doesn't make sense because there's no catwalk to have a permanent set in here. I don't come here often to shoot, so a temporary setup is good. But even though it's a temporary setup, that temporary setup needs to be like really bolted down. It needs to be really bulletproof from having fans around it and all the rest of it. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of explain the process of how I did this so that you might try it maybe. Because this is the modern arena, this lighting setup was pretty easy because the plugs were so close to where I wanted to put my flash units. But you'll notice here, this is a lot better than black tape. You can use tape to tape cords down, but often it pulls the paint off the floor, and I find that these are like 15 bucks at Home Depot. It's a much better way to keep everybody safe and keep me from having an insurance claim as well. So all I needed for this setup to get going was very simply 4 extension cords, my lights, and that's it. Here's the bottom of my light stand, which I've now zip tied to the steel railings. This is a handicap accessible area, so it's got these really great welded together steel railings, and they're in 2 places. One's at the bottom, and then there are actually 2 of them at the top, and so you can kind of see how difficult it would be to get these things loose. They're not going to come off. Even if they're bumped or jostled by fans, these things are not going to come down. It's very important that you always make things as safe as possible, and that protects yourself first and everybody else next. All right, now that you can see how I got these stands on here, you can also see this in this shot how I've got these pocket wizards rigged up. So basically I've got a pocket wizard multi-max that's kind of tied to the unit. We go into the flash receptacle. Then I use an adapter because this is a 1/4-inch phono plug. So this is a mini phone to mini phone cord from Radio Shack. And then finally into the unit. And this allows me to basically trip the strobe from any place in the arena wherever I am. It's very nice too because these are multi-channel remotes, and they give you ID codes on each channel, and they go A through D. So I can, like, depending on where I'm at in the court, I can turn on and off lights so I'm not being flared as badly, which is very, very convenient. These are good to 1,600 feet away, so they'll fire regardless where I am in the arena. Every once in a while they false and don't fire, but for a temporary setup, this is definitely the way to go. Okay, so here you can see the 2 lights that are set up on the same side of the court. So here's the court down there. And here is the light that I'm at right now. And down in the distance at the upper left of your screen, you can see my second light on the same side of the court. And of course, these are all synchronized by the Pocket Wizard receiver system, so they all trip together every time I take a picture, which is very, very convenient. By having a Pocket Wizard at each light position, they all trip when I hit the button on the camera. And it takes you away from these grainy, nasty light pictures into these beautiful, gorgeous, low ISO, very high quality, great color images. Now that I've got my light stands all battened down and stuff, it's time to put them up all the way. Now, this is a very important thing to know. Each section of the stand has a limit, and it blocks, it stops. You always want to come back down about 3 inches so that the tube is now in here and it's tight. Otherwise, they can get too top heavy and they can break. So just as a word of caution, you never want to have each section of the light stand all the way up. You go all the way to the top and then you come back down about 3 or 4 inches, and that gives you a lot more strength in the stand overall. So here's my last section, all the way to the top, come back down about 4 inches. And now I'm going to go ahead and just line it up and aim as I want to. I'm going to lock it right there. And then you just very simply just twist this around a couple times, and now you're done with this position. So we're good to go on this light, and we're going to go to the next one. This will give you a little closer look at the XB Prime 5. It's a very, very nice light. The reflectors lock on so they can't come off very easily. There's a switch up here you depress and you just pull this off. It has a very robust triple claw metal mount. Once you connect this on there and it locks in place, it is not going to fall down. It's not going to come off. You notice on the XB Primes they have the Pyrex dome. This is not an additional add-on accessory as it is in most strobe companies. This actually comes on every unit, which is very nice because it protects the flash tube inside there. I really like that feature. Also, it's got this majored handle on it. This is a great, very, very strong handle that is capable of using for safety cabling onto a catwalk, or if you're doing some theatrical thing, you can really lock these things down, literally lock them with a padlock. So I like that feature as well. On the back, you've got a digital control. You can turn off and on the sound, the cell, test button, of course. And again, this is the same exact setup as the other one. There's a pocket wizard in each corner, so that every time I hit the button, the strobe is going to fire all the way around the entire arena. So we're going to put this one back up. I'm going to aim it. Sometimes when you're aiming from up high like this, you have to do it a few times. And the best way is the very best way is to walk down on the court and look up and see what your aim is. But I've gotten to the point now where I don't really have to do that. I can do it by just judging it from the side. Just remember never to lock your stands down in that total up position. It's just dangerous. And last, just make sure that you tie this around and it's off and gone. Once again, this might seem extravagant, but spending 15 bucks times 4, so $60 total on these floor mats is a much better use of my resources because they're reusable and I can use them over and over again in different arenas. Also, it's a lot cheaper. Gaffer tape's about $35 a roll at this point, and it often takes the paint off the floor. So arena managers kind of like it when I show up with these. Also note that I've set the stand on the outside of the railing and not the inside where people are walking. So everything is away from where the traffic flow is, and people don't see it as much. It's a much better way to go.